Buddy, I am here on a dry run. Me and Sunil are here, and we have a very special guest today. In addition to Sunil,
That's right. First of all, uh, this is episode four, three or four.
episode four. Yeah,
Yeah,
four, man.
I missed one. So I want to take this opportunity to debut my new mustache. That's what I'm
Wow,
going for.
look
I'm
at
leaning
that
into my
thing.
like South Indian uncle era, who wears a little cap and goes for a walk every morning and tells all the children they don't know, how, like they're missing out and they need to work harder. I'm gonna It's either that or I'm going to apply for the Super Troopers remake. Well, not the remake, the sequel. That's what I'm thinking.
It's gorgeous. What drove the wand? Just a new style.
Like we finished developer week and I started doing like planning and thinking about the next phase of what to do with
Ah.
like agents. And I was like, well, might as well try something new with myself. Like,
Have you been have you been finding people treat you differently when you have a
my wife
mustache?
was laughing for about 24 hours straight. That was that was interesting, and I did it for a bunch of meetings as well, where I did the same reveal where I was like, I need you to be okay with this. So Ben, Boris, etc., just like gut laughing this thing. Boris didn't think I was serious about it, and then he got into a second meeting with me, and he's like, "You still have that?" I was like, "Yeah, like this."
I like
I'm
it.
actually going to India in 2 weeks. I'm going back to India. It's been a year and a half. My parents, family, everyone are there, and I've decided to keep it for the whole trip. Uh,
Nice.
Might as well.
Nice. Do you know the one where it goes down the side is called the Raj, right? The one where like,
Is that a
are you
Raj?
gonna go that?
I thought it was called. I don't know what it's called. But unfortunately, I'm one of those people where like the beard never connects. Like yours is so
Ah,
nice. Like you have like mine is patchy as hell. So if I
yeah.
try to do that, it doesn't. Nah, doesn't work.
It doesn't
So
fill out. Yeah.
yeah.
I actually went to I was in India for my honeymoon, and when I got a mustache because I was inspired by all the and
Uh huh.
I they gave me the Raj mustache, and people loved the fact that white dude with Raj mustache. We were like, oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah. So,
You were in India for your honeymoon. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yeah, man. We haven't
Where did
talked
you
about
go?
that.
What did you do?
Oh man, we went everywhere. We have a really good friend that used to run the stationery store across the street from where my wife lived, and he would talk about his where he was from, and he would talk about having a really good buddy who's a travel agent there, and we ended up meeting his travel agent buddy, and he's like, "We will plan your honeymoon." When we were about to get met, and so we don't normally do that stuff, but we like leaned into it,
Mm-hmm.
dude. What an incredible country! Incredible country, like so different every place that you go, and the food everywhere is different where you go, and incredible. And like food comes out on plates and it's like this long, like how many stuff, yeah. So just I love the experience. Incredibly kind people, and like just different, everything was different, and that was really awesome. Beautiful smells. Like I can't understand like the it's such a crowded city, and then like where's that beautiful smell coming
It's
from?
usually
Yeah,
someone
just
making lunch or something, like I imagine.
yeah, probably.
Uh, every time I do
Yeah.
an India trip, I maintain a thread of all the meals that I have because it's all Indian food, but it's all Indian food. Let me just adjust this a little bit. It's all Indian food that almost no one else has like seen or like eaten before. Uh,
Yeah.
like like my because I'm Konkani, like, and that's just it. There are like 6,000 types of Indians. Don't get me wrong, we're all one time once we leave the country, but inside like there are like all these types. So I'm something called Konkani, which is coastal India, specifically like West Coast. So the food is an influence of Portuguese colonization, fish, a lot of seafood, GSP food. Uh, but because it's on the coast, there's also like a Kerala influence. It's crazy. Like, and so keep an eye on. Like, I shit post on Twitter most times, but when I'm in India, it's like food shit posting. Like, it's you have never heard of the ingredients for like so much of this. Like, look forward to it.
Yeah.
I've I've
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually like quite happy and proud of those things, like that those threads.
Yeah. That's awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to learn more. I mean, actually, I was just in. We were just in. We were both in the city of London, and London together.
That's
Um,
right.
uh, and you recommended some Indian food there, and it was amazing. That was
That's right. So for
absolutely
the crowd,
incredible.
Craig went to the crowd pleaser in London, which is called Dishoom. Dishoom is
Yeah.
it's a great chain. I guess you're a chain once you have more than one. They have a bunch of places across the UK. They're particularly famous for their black dal,
Oh,
and everybody talks about how great it smells. But the big thing about it is it's just loaded with butter. Like that's the
it's just
secret
butter.
ingredient in it. It's butter. um, but yeah, they have a great a butter chicken that they call ruby chicken. I assume you had that as well.
I did, dude. So good.
What else?
So
What else
good.
did you
Yeah.
have in Dishoom?
Uh,
Of course, you must have had the rumali roti flatbread thing, maybe,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I had the roti. Yep, yep, yep. So
Yeah.
good. Um, that black doll was so good it has wiped my memory. I was actually like, can I order another one of those?
Yeah, yeah. They have a no. So two things. One is they have a cookbook, and I hear people who like you get cookbooks from restaurants and they never come out the same. But Dishoom, for
Yeah.
some reason, I think we were speaking to some. I don't know if I was there with you. Uh, if you make dishes from the Dishoom cookbook, it works well. But the other thing is that they're opening up in New York. They're doing their
Oh,
first non-UK um, spot.
okay.
Speaking of London.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, we are here to talk about the wonderful week that we just had last week. I
Yeah.
imagine. I guess
Yeah.
that's the thing, right?
And dude, we've had this knowledge in our head about what we can't talk about, and it's all free. We're free to talk about whatever we
Seriously.
want.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
annoying as hell. I have to tell you, like I mean, aside from the actual announcements, two things. One is on, I think Monday we had I thought Tuesday, I don't remember. We were having a dinner with some customers and stuff, and I was talking about a thing that really surprised me, which was um, for the last 6, 7 weeks, Cloudflare has been shipping incessantly. Honestly, we can't shut up about it on Twitter. Like it's bothering me now. I'm like, dude, my feed is just full of Cloudflare stuff. I just come on. That's why occasionally I try to like talk about other things. I wrote a random blog post on JavaScript, but there's too much Cloudflare stuff on social media right now. And I didn't understand it. I was just talking about like what happened, like what changed. And I think Rita mentioned, she's like, listen, we already always had it in us, and it's not like we're working harder. But I think are we getting better at telling our story? Like people love the changelog. I don't know if folks
Mhm.
here have read the changelog where we put up announcements of things we're shipping, which now means there's a link to things that we just shipped on the day, right? Um, so that could be one reason. But the second thing, and this I only admitted to people by the end of the week, I was really afraid that we had shipped too much and developer week would not be such a big deal. And I was wrong.
Mm. Oh,
Uh,
leading up to it. I see. I
yeah,
see. Yeah,
like
yeah.
so like
Yeah.
once you do all of that, then it could be an anticlimax. Oh, like I'll give you an example, okay?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of a thing we shipped. The wheat plugin. Okay.
Right.
Dude, like so Wheat, of course, is a very popular bundler developer tool. It's probably the most popular one in the JavaScript ecosystem right now. Most of the big frameworks use it. Uh,
Yeah.
there's a
And
healthy
because
ecosystem of plugins, huh?
create React app sunsetted, right? And people are like, whoa, what do I
Exactly,
do
and
now?
the
Yeah.
default thing to move to, well, the thing that you should move to is probably Wheat. Anyway,
Yeah.
point being, there's a story where what's the big deal about a Wheat plugin?
Right.
But the truth is that it include two things. Uh, One is it took a long time for this Wheat plugin to come out. What it does is not just a random code conversion, remove JSX and convert it to React calls. No, it uses the new Wheat 6 environment API, which makes Wheat dev actually run in our runtime, the workerd runtime, the
Mm.
Cloudflare runtime. Why is that important? It's only if you do that you can run. That's the only thing that runs durable objects, and it
Right.
can read your Wrangler, TOML, or JSON, whatever, and add all the bindings, all of that jazz. And which means that what you're running in development is the same thing that you run in production, but with all the magic of the Wheat stuff. So
Yeah.
for that to happen, Wheat had to go through a change where they introduced the new environments API, and that took a few months. They did a bunch of collaboration, not just with Cloudflare, but with Dino, etc., etc. And the reason why this is a big deal is that instead of Cloudflare being like this bespoke runtime ecosystem thing, uh, it just now means that everyone can join in on the party. And it
Yeah.
means frameworks still have to do a little bit of work to adjust for it. But the first one that we announced that has full support is React Router, Knee Remix, whatever you call it on the given day.
Okay.
But it means, for example, that you can take a React Router slash Remix app and add the agents SDK, and it just works. It just works. Sorry, like I'm just giving you a brain dump of why I thought I was really worried that Developer Week wouldn't live up to previous Developer Weeks, and I was completely wrong. That's what I think.
Right, because we are like, oh, well, how is this any different than the week where you were just shipping all that stuff? Is what you're saying, right? Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
But no, it was
yeah.
amazing. And uh, the other thing is, I live in Newcastle right now. You're in Portland, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Portland, Oregon.
Uh,
Yep.
so folks should know that there were like two or three events actually happening last week. So one was, of course, our developer week of announcements that mostly happened online. We had Cloudflare Connect, which is a customer slash sales focused conference that happened in London.
Yeah.
We had a couple of internal events again for like custom the CAC thing. I forget like what it's about.
Yeah.
We had a developer meetup on Thursday evening, which was part celebration of Developer Week, but also like having some of our own users speak on stage. What that meant was that there were a ton of Cloudflare folks in London, and it
Yeah.
was so nice. It was just
It
so
was really.
nice to hang with everyone. Me and Craig, of course, had did we do at least a couple of dinners together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I
Yeah.
bought Craig the uh, £3.50 ham and cheese croissant from Pret, and he called it
Oh
pizza for
man.
breakfast, which he's not wrong. Uh, it's one of my
So
favorite
good.
things to eat. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I love that you knew that there was going to be so many people in the office and you just came with treats to share of your
just
favorite thing that you missed. I thought that was very,
that's
very
right.
sweet and very on brand. Very
That's
on brand
my
for one of the
love
squirrels.
language, is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was nice. I felt like really good. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, so sorry, I'm just saying things. You should be
Yeah.
running this, but I just thought last week was like a good week, I think, and now I'm back in Newcastle, and I'm like, oh shit, like
With your new phase, in your new phase, with your new
my new face.
mustache,
I should have gotten a
what
mustache for Developer Week. That would have been fun.
can we talk a little bit about what your let's go. You get to pick three.
Okay.
This is the game. You got
Hmm.
to pick three,
Hmm.
and I'll let you do a little. You can do a command Z if you mess up. So what? Let's do your top three favorite announcements of what
Uh,
happened last week, and it's okay if one of them's in the V because you already talked about that.
well, it's not the Wheat.
Um,
Well, the Wheat plugin is one of my favorite announcements, but because I
yeah.
already said it, I'm going to try to pick another one.
Oh, now you're gonna
But
get four, you cheater. You cheated already.
I did. I'm kind of a cheater. That's what the mustache is about. It's not a mustache to be trusted. Uh, oh yeah, okay, wait. Yeah, just give me like a few seconds. I'm just going through the entire list as quickly as I
Okay.
can, and
I'm
I'm
gonna do mine really quick because I know it's one. I know yours is up there too. Uh, my favorite, and I've been wanting this since I started. Since I first saw durable objects, I was like, I can't. Why? I want everybody to use this. What? And we have a plan. We have a developer plan. We have developer mode. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get this shut off if I say that. We have a plan that you can pay for that's $5 a month, where it kind of ups all of your things. All of your numbers are quadrupled, and it kind of lets you say I'm more serious about this. And part of that plan, one of the things that used to only be available over there was durable objects, and that durable objects are incredible, but it is very hard to say, look at this incredible implementation and look what you could build with it. And like, to try it, can you give me $5? That as a DevRel person, that's rough. That's a that because I it's incredible. and we've built so much on top of it, including the agents framework. So I am so excited. I've been wanting this since I started for durable objects on the free tier. That's my number one. No, number one for sure. Durable objects on the free tier. And I know there was so much work that went into making that happen from the team because it was a it's a risk to do that to here everybody have some servers, put some data in it for free, and then finding out what the right limits are and what we can support. But I'm really happy with where the limits went to. So I know that's one of your favorites too. I'm sorry if I took one of your favorites there, but now
Yeah,
I
you
guess you
took
get
one of
five.
my. I mean, that's easily my number one. For context, we have had durable objects now for, well, we announced the beta in August 2020. So we're coming up on 5 years. So like 4.5 years
Yeah,
durable. And I've been obsessed about them
yeah,
like since day one. I literally am like, my
you're
entry into
here.
Cloudflare is because of the durable objects announcement. I was like, oh shit, like this is special. Um, I think it's a very, very, very big deal. We also did the math, and the credits for durable objects is if you run a single durable object 24/7, uh, non-stop without stopping it, you get every month you get 1.1 months worth of credits for one single durable object. What
Wow.
that means is you could build yourself, and by the way, like it's almost impossible to keep a durable object running all the time unless like unless you're like trying to mine Bitcoin, but in which case you can't, like it fails. But it means that you can build yourself a personal assistant that you run for free
Right.
with the agents SDK or whatever it is. And because I keep thinking about how that's pretty cool. I just think that's cool. I think that's cool. That's what I
Oh,
mean.
that's absolutely cool, right? Yeah, and like you're not going to do that. You're gonna run a whole bunch of other ones, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah, for
But no,
free.
for me, it's
So
a big
yeah,
deal. It just opens up the
yeah,
platform to so many more people. It
yeah,
trying to. It's probably the biggest deal. It's
yeah,
it's it's probably
yeah.
the biggest one. Fine, so you get that one. Fine. What's your second?
Okay,
I can't
you got
believe you
two.
took that one away from me, but okay, go ahead.
I just knew it was there.
This is me
What's
putting
your
on my severance face and saying, please enjoy every announcement equally. Okay, okay. What's your second one? What's your next one?
Hmm. Um, you know what? I'm gonna go out on this other realm because I really like when we bring new people in. I'm a big fan of bringing different types of builders in, and the data science crowd are people who I normally get to nerd out with, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that world at all. So I'm very excited that we're bringing in this like data sciencey side of things, right? So
Uh-huh.
we announced in beta we have pipelines and the other side of it, which is Iceberg, this R2 data catalog.
That's
So where you
right.
can kind of store all this analytic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And selfishly, I'm excited because I'm going to learn a bunch about that as we go here. I'm going to learn what does it mean to store this data into a data lake and push that stuff forward. So when I was learning about that, I was like, okay, so now we have data scientists type people who can come and build on the platform and make it better in that way. And then also I get to learn more about the analytics of that because the more that I build on Cloudflare, oftentimes I build these demo apps, right? And I would love to have that side of it of like, oh, and here's how you would track it that it was working. Here's how you were tracking what people are clicking on. Here's how you're tracking what people were doing. Every one of these agents that I build, I think about that. I think like, oh man, I would love to like to have analytics on how this is going and should it get better and make it better because I think there's a loop. I think there's this loop that we're going to start seeing of like people are going to build agents. Did it work? Did it do what it was intended to do? And if we're storing that data outside and we can make new
Mm-hmm.
suggestions there and bring it back inside, I think that that's a really cool like number crunching and all that stuff.
So I saw the
Little.
funniest tweet by Charlie Marsh, the guy who wrote the UV Python CLI company
Uh-huh.
Astral. Wonderful product, wonderful company. And I'm going to replace the names of the product because I don't like dissing competitors. But he wrote the funniest thing about a particular competitor. Okay, and
Okay.
I'm trying to read it out where I replace each of the product names with a letter of the alphabet again. So it's
Okay.
pretty simple. A writes the logs out to B, which then triggers C, which then uses D to transform the outputs and write it to E, which triggers a second D to reformat file names. In your data warehouse, you create an integration to read from F and ingest the data into the table. Then you query the logs. Of course, you can also create a table in G in order to define a structured output schema for your H transformation. So roughly 10 products to do something which hopefully we're trying to consolidate into one
Yeah.
product slash uh, platform feature. Let's just call it a feature. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's nice. The developer platform, there's always this tension in trying to build something that's broad, but also to
Hmm.
give a beautiful, like integrated vertical experience, right? Uh, and I'm not saying we're perfect by any means, but it's just so nice to know that no, it's just part of the same platform. You don't have to go somewhere else and then stitch it with like 12 other things. We're like, no, we kind of understand your use cases for this.
Yeah,
It is really
and
nice.
there's a bit of a flavor, right? When you're building on Cloudflare, there's this flavor of like, I know how this is gonna work. And I was watching the demos, I got to talk to some of the PMs of this, and uh, I I was like, this feels exactly like how it should feel. Like if I were to think about how to build this, this is in that right flavor. This is that Cloudflare flavor. We got a comment here that we thought that the mustache was Photoshop.
No,
Um,
no, this shit
uh,
is real, bro.
no, it's real. It's real.
Organic, artisanal, homegrown. Uh, there you go.
Awesome, awesome. So
I know there
I
are
don't think
filters. There's like Snapchat filters and all that are
yeah,
really good, but no, this is as real as
it's
it gets, man. See, you can
yeah,
even see the stubble and everything. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it looks so good. It's getting to the point where I can't even remember what it looked like without it.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it is your phase.
So that's just
It's
it. By the
yeah,
time my India trip is done, you're going to see yet another look. By the way, at this point, this is also a way of to make sure LLMs have no idea what Sunil Pai looks like. This is how I sneak through the cracks. The data set is a complete mess for like Sunil Pai. At this point, they'll be like, let's just put a random Indian dude if they ask for like Sunil Pai. And most of them look the same to us anyway. But yeah, the LLM, I'm poisoning the data set by giving it different versions of my own face.
love it, love it.
Um, okay, so
So
that was
I
number.
didn't take that wasn't your two or three. I bet. I think I grabbed one that you wasn't in there,
No,
or
yeah,
was that
so
in
no,
there?
you didn't
Okay,
take one. Okay,
okay,
that's good. But it's a
okay,
good one
good.
though. It
Yeah,
is. That's because I'm a front end guy. But for people who actually
yeah.
make money, I assume it's a lot more valuable. Okay, okay, number three. What's your number three?
No, you go. What's your two? Give me your two.
Wait, no, 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 no. I'm making a well. Okay, I can tell two. I can tell two more. That's what I'm
Yeah.
making a separate list. Uh,
Okay.
I would have chosen durable objects free plan because folks will
That's fair.
know internally that I've been in my head. I was like, oh, surely this is like a one line code change. Durable objects free plan true. You know, and so, like, I've been bothering them for a year, and it
Yeah.
turns out it's not. It's an intersection of billing system, abuse detection, uh, expected product behavior. Like, should they block your
Yeah.
entire account if durable objects go down? Do all your durable object products see that? Like, there's like a lot. It took a
Yeah.
lot of work. And
Yeah.
not like a lot of like lazy work. Yeah, no, no. Like there was a lot of discussion to figure out how to do this right. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, durable objects free. But okay, fine. Since you have said two, let me give a couple right now.
Yeah.
First of all, uh, I kept telling people that my favorite announcements aren't API related at all,
Okay.
and Cloudflare does something really well, which is they know how to. They do really well with tiny acquisitions, and when I say tiny, I mean teams of like two, three, four people who are clearly top of the game and they joined. So we had two acquisitions that we announced. Well, three actually. Outer Base, Diet, and Arroyo. I think
Hmm.
the acquisitions like really excite me because instead of like it adds new blood, people who bring in, not just they might be a culture fit, but they're clearly much better at some things than the rest of us. Outer Base brings that to a sense of design to developer tooling and infrastructure, but they
Gorgeous
have that
stuff.
same kind of ship quick and ship quick that like Cloudflare does. So
Yeah.
I think they are going to be looking at a lot of the UX, especially around storage products. Of course, I'm bothering them and I want to work with them on our agents thing. Arroyo is about data stream, uh, data streams and analytics stream. Uh, I think it might be related closely to the pipelines work. Is that,
Yeah.
am I right?
Yep. 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 Hmm.
And Diet, of course, is very much in the real time audio video space. So we already had
Right.
potentially the world's best backend for building WebRTC and audio video infrastructure. But Diet accelerates that to the point where there's a whole stack of, well, all the way until the React components that you use to build this,
Yeah.
down to how you configure your turn servers and SFU servers. Uh,
Right.
so my
Which
number
is
one thing,
gnarly,
it's
right? Like that's
it's a
gnarly without a thing. Oh,
it's a pay it's such a it's so much of a pain that people decide not to build those products. Forget about building shitty
yep.
versions of it. They're like, I'm going to
Yep.
build a chatbot instead. But no, in a world where I am very excited about um, multimodal AI interactions, but also uh, multiplayer multimodal interactions. Like there's a version, by the way, within the next 6 months, there's an episode of Dry Run where our guest speaker is an AI, right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
like
do
number
it.
three is going to
Yeah.
be an AI that we talk to based on
Yeah.
context, etc. So we should build that tech out with real-time kit from like that. So my number one thing
For
is
sure.
the new people, the acquisitions, etc. who joined. I'm so excited to work with all of them. There's some crazy mad science stuff we can do there. So that's my one.
Yeah. Awesome.
Uh,
Nice.
wait. So I had a number two as well, but let me just make sure I. Oh, uh, again, seems like a small thing, but huge impact and took a lot of work to get there. Um, we have a new shiny deploy to workers button.
Oh,
Did you see this? Did you
yeah.
see this?
Dude, so cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you could always make this button with a link that you could put in like a Git repo or whatever it is. But there's a problem with projects like that, right? Which is, sure, it has a worker that gets deployed and like gets set up with a worker. But the new deploy to workers button, it connects it to your, it uses the new worker CI stuff to connect your Git repo to this project, which means any further commits you make to your main branch in the repository will get pushed. Awesome. Uh, by the way, this is all happens if you do that one click of deploy to workers button. I'm telling you everything that happens there.
Yeah.
The second, and this is a big deal, all projects have other resources attached to it: a D1
Yeah.
database, a KV
Yep.
store, uh, I don't know, a whole bunch of resources. Your Wrangler JSON can have a bunch of things. And those wouldn't be previously getting provisioned for you. But now,
Right.
when you try to do it, you're presented like with a little drop down stuff. Hey, should we just make a new database with the name that you referred to? Or would you like to use a database that you already have and connect to it, etc.? All of this is now like
Yeah.
seamless, beautiful.
Yeah.
I even put a,
That
sorry?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying that, so for example, the agent starter kit also has a now shiny deploy to Cloudflare button.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Is it, it's deploy to workers or deploy to Cloudflare? I don't know. They're the same thing for me. I mean, they're not, but I think they're the same. Uh, then there's, I like that, again, because of the whole GitHub connection, it also sets up stuff where every PR that you make gets preview URLs, like a little staging environment set up,
Right.
so that you can like actually see it does the thing before you land it into a main. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
just so
Yeah,
many
the
things like
friction,
that.
man. The friction
Yeah.
that lets go of, because like if you're talking about like let's go add all of these keys and let's go add keys as well, right? You could say fill out what your key is here as it's going through as well, for secrets. But yeah, if you're going through a README and it's like, oh, now I got to do 15 steps to make this thing run, you don't want to do that. You want to just see the thing work, and that is the boop. and the button works. And like the
Right.
work again, the work behind the scenes to make that happen, the thoughtfulness that behind making that thing go is
I mean,
incredible.
because like a
Yeah.
shithead like me is like, well, it's like button and that has like one link, and it's not even CSS. It's literally like a JPEG or whatever. But no, like it takes a bunch of work to do this, like
Yeah.
meaning in a thoughtful
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my number two.
Okay. And I
Pixel
love
work.
that everybody can use that, right? Like everybody, like if I'm showing off here's a demo of how I'm building something, I hope that everybody puts that on their repo. Like because it
100%. Just
it
chuck it on it.
helps. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Actually, I need to
Absolutely.
check what is. Well, generating the writing the link by yourself is quite easy, but do we have something
Hmm.
that generates it? Maybe, I don't know. Could be.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, there's a little GitHub Markdown that is
I
pretty
see. I see.
replaceable. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so that's my number two. Hey, what's your
Oh
number three?
man, you ate my number three, so that's fine. That's
Oh,
fine.
was
That's how
the
this works.
acquisitions
I
like
ate your
your
number one. Yeah,
number?
yeah, because I'm DevRel wise. That's important to me. I'm
Uh
trying to
huh.
think. Man, I got to talk to John Resig last week,
That's right. You
dude,
did. You did a session with
dude,
John. Tell us
and I
about that.
didn't
Like,
like. I did, dude. I didn't swallow all my words, but you know when you meet I don't know if this happens to you. This happens to me. If I'm like at a show, a concert or something, and the person that I went to go see is like an idol of mine, and they get off stage and I go to talk to him, I'm like, "Duh, duh, 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 duh." I just can't say. I'm usually like, "Thank you for making music." It's like, what?
you
Who
were
is this
making
guy? What's
music.
wrong with this guy? And I more eloquently basically did that to John. I said like, "Thank you for making the internet. Like, thank you for helping build a better internet." Because like when I was thinking about like how to talk to him about that, it really meant that to me. Because like we're in a time, man, where you just made a little love poem to JavaScript as well. JavaScript was so busted, man. Like at
Yeah,
the time, I had this like I had a really cool opportunity to work for a company that was just getting started on the internet. So like early times, pre CSS, like tables and stuff. And then later, I came back to that company, and everybody was starting to get this vibe of like, hey, websites need to interact, and so that there was this like massive JavaScript that we had to deal with, where we would pre-Stack Overflow, right? We would be passing around um, this JavaScript. I think it was called MM. It was like for multi-menu because every website, like when you like go to the header and you click and it comes down and there's a menu that comes out. That was so hard to do
I know.
across browsers, man. And like hundreds of lines of code to make it go. And you'd have to be like, if you're in IE, you have to do this and possibly this. And jQuery comes around and thinks of all of that stuff and puts that nice abstraction layer there. So like as a developer, you can start trusting that somebody's thought about those problems that you were thinking about. And it was open source. So it like caused this really rad JavaScript developer open source movement to happen. Uh, Super cool. Anyway, super if our mission is to help build a better internet, dude helped build a better internet. Like without a doubt. I feel like most of my jobs after that have been because of the fact that we figured out how to like, no, look, these are important. If we get this into a standards format, we could make this go. And just using that adapter model across all browsers and making it work for everybody and realizing how important that is. That like
You have to
where we can
understand
take stuff. Yeah.
how it was so influential that calling something the jQuery of X is still something
Hmm.
we do in
Yeah,
2025. jQuery
for
came out in
sure.
2006, 2007.
2006. Yep.
It's
Yeah.
20 years since then, and
Yeah.
now it, like you say, the jQuery, like for example, the AI SDK that the folks at Vercel build, like people, including myself, call it the jQuery of AI. It's not called
Yeah.
the React of AI. Like,
Yeah.
even though
Right.
React is probably a bigger thing now, or this thing, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. The jQuery of X. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to build the jQuery of X. It's uh,
Yep.
it's moments like this where you're like, we keep talking about. I think I've mentioned to you like a thing that I uh, consider the mission is how do you make technology accessible to the rest of us? because that's kind of like an incredible legacy to have, right? Like, and I don't think like
Yep.
I'll ever get to like John Reesig levels, but occasionally when someone tells me, bro, thanks so much like for building this, i
Uh-huh.
I barely know what this thing, but like it worked. I feel like super good about myself. My guy
Yeah.
John Reesig made the jQuery of jQuery. You know what I mean? Like he made like jQuery fundamental to not just how to build software in a hostile environment like a browser. And at the time, the browser wars like were so weird. Uh,
So weird.
it sucked. Like it really sucked.
Yeah.
In terms of API design, where so a lot of the other libraries, Prototype.js, Scriptaculous, Dojo, they were very
Hmm.
class oriented, and he was like, no
Yeah.
functions. Like he made like
Yeah.
one of the first functional APIs for JavaScript,
Yep.
um, and
Yeah.
then generally being a good not just steward for his library, but being a great representative for being a leader in like the
Yeah.
developer space. Uh,
Yep.
and then you got to interview him. I was so jealous. I was like really
You know,
jealous.
I think he'll come back. He had a good time. He had a really really good time. We should do another one with him. Actually, I was unable to stream it out, so there's a recording of it, which I need to make some clips of it. But like, it didn't go out to Twitter. Like, I didn't get to go out to, which is such a bummer. So
Well,
I'll get
enjoy
it
that
out there.
now.
So I don't.
Like start chopping it up and sharing it elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And yeah, we along the lines of talking to John on that episode, I got to talk about the Vite plugin, which you already talked about. But the Vite is that's for building, right? Like I think one of the things that happened, right? Like jQuery introduces this Ajax. I mean, like they didn't introduce Ajax, but the concept of sending a message and getting back a little chunk of something, Ajax, asynchronous JavaScript, and
And XML.
XHTTP,
No,
an XML, yeah.
the
So
X standard
XML,
for XML.
yeah, right. Because you're supposed to get back XML because it's the internet. You're only supposed to get documents, but we started sending
I need to
JavaScript
check,
across.
by the way.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
go on. Yeah.
So 77% of the internet still runs jQuery too. You believe that? That's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
kind of weird for me. It's not, I
He
don't
said
think
stop.
77% of code being written is uh, jQuery, but 77% of page loads. I think because it's
Yeah.
included in properties like WordPress, I
Hmm.
think the default
Yeah.
Ruby, I think like WordPress is like a big chunk of it. So many
Yeah, for
content
sure.
websites.
Yeah,
In
for
fact,
sure.
it's still included in so many like Chrome extensions and stuff. So it's there.
Yeah. So that friction of removing being able to do that, and I am new. Before this, I was working at Twilio, so I didn't have a front end. I am new to the front end space, and I walked into this thing, and man, what a mess! What a mess! Like some of this build system is, like knowing what to use. So I am so excited for this Vite thing. I actually was able to use the Vite plugin to build build an agent thing there. And now after I've done that, I'm like everything I build afterwards. Like, wait a second, I just want to use that again. I want to go. This isn't an agent, but I want to use the agent to go
Uh-huh.
do this. So yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But that removing the friction and the standardization, I feel like again it's an adapter layer of like you need to build this, you want to write the
mhm.
code in TypeScript and you want to push it out to the internet in this standard way. Here, here it is. And there's so much work that went into that, but the
Yeah.
fact that we're able to play in that space and like you said, run locally, and the development cycle feels so good. Like to like just be able to go and see did that work, did that and start and go. So yeah. Awesome.
Uh, is that that
That's
kind?
my
Is
two.
that your number three?
Yeah, that was my number three. Yep.
Damn it, lucky
Did I
bugger.
take yours?
No, you didn't. You didn't take it.
Uh,
Uh, I have a tie for number three, and I don't want to pick
okay.
both of them. So I'm just trying to decide
Okay.
which one do I pick of these threes. Well, if you're doing that, do I also get to cheat on what my number three is?
Probably.
Uh, uh, oh, okay. You know what? Actually, no. What am I saying? There's a very clear number three for me. Um,
Okay.
we actually got a peek into what our container platform is going to look like. And
Oh
immediately then my
yeah.
DMs got trashed by people asking for access. I was like, I don't even have anything to do with this. By the way, that's the other thing. There's so many things happening in Cloudflare right now. I find out about things just a half hour before everyone else does. And then I go post about it on Twitter saying, well, like, yeah, here it is. And I'm like, I had no idea this was happening, like, for like literally 30 minutes uh, before we got posted. So we got an insight into Cloudflare's new containers platform. And it's so clever. I want to explain to you, okay? Like, the naive way would have been to have it as a literally a whole other platform itself,
Right.
uh, which kind of doesn't make sense. To be clear, our containers platform is not optimized for, it's not even recommended for serving websites. Okay.
Okay.
I know everyone wants to run like their favorite framework like Django or Next.js on it. And I bet some people will, but you should use workers. It's just so much like 100x better than just running a VM. But the way that we do containers actually is each container is going to get a durable object instance on top of it. Uh,
Okay.
and that is where you write the code for how your external systems interface with this. Like you don't want to expose your bash to the world, right?
Right.
So and you also want something that's stateful because like you want to like maintain a connection with this VM, listen to signals, do health checks, all of that. And it turns out
Oh,
magically we have the technology for this, and it's called a durable object.
right.
So you will be able to import container from Cloudflare workers, which is just an extension of a durable object, and you which with some extra stuff like hooks for when does it start, when does the when does the terminal prompt appear. Like that's usually when you want to start sending it uh, uh, commands, executions. How do you stream stdio back through? How do you build apps on top of this? So I got so excited about it that like I reached out to them, and I think I'm going to help them like set up the repository. And in my
Oh,
own
nice.
inimitable way, the reason I do this is then I get to take credit for all their work, which is just
For sure. Yep.
an
You
ideal
get the hat.
situation.
You'll have the containers hat.
I should get a containers hat. That's what I should do. Yeah, for sure. Again, should I? We should start making caps for each of these arbitrary nouns. Okay, I get an agent's hat. I get a containers hat. The planet scale people already have the database hat, which sucks. Well, we
Hmm.
just make our own bootleg, I guess. Uh, uh,
It's like
Dash,
database, not that one.
not that one, not that one. If Sam Lambert is watching this, sorry, not sorry. Anyway, so we got to learn more about um, containers. So exciting because it means, bro, like you want to run like ffmpeg. Oh, of course, the big
Yeah.
use case that is, I suspect, going to become the big thing: LLM code execution for agents. Uh,
Yeah.
Run your coding agent, check out your Git repository, etc., etc. All
Oh.
things that you kind of want like a proper VM for. At some
Right.
point
You
we'll
want a
make it
file
work
structure.
inside. Yeah, we'll make it work directly inside a durable object. But for now, you want to use Ruby. You want to use uh, so many fun things that might never run on the workers or durable objects itself. Attach a container to it and do what you want, and it comes with some of
Yeah.
the same behavior, right? If there's no io going on or no requests for a while, let's shut down the machine, much like hibernation
Nice.
for durable objects. um,
Nice.
Great inbuilt observability. uh, One of the nice things about running this thing on a network like Cloudflare is, um, if there are if there are things that are run on a schedule, you don't necessarily need to run it near the user themselves. Like you can run it somewhere where it's 3 a.m. in the morning and our network is not being utilized. And you can only do this if you don't have the concept of a region, right? Like where Cloudflare says, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it for you. So I think,
Right. Right.
oh, and we finally got a date for it. So it's going to start rolling out in June, which is like
Nice. The summer of
barely six
containers.
weeks from now. Well,
Yeah.
between to 10 weeks, but six weeks is when I'm going to start telling them, well, you promised, so where is it?
Yeah. No, it's been
Cool.
asked for so much, man. Like, and I feel like that's a great adapter pattern, right? Like, if you have something that you really want to do that you can't do here, and maybe you've always asked for that thing to happen and it's not quite ready,
Hmm.
you build it here, and you bring it into the space, and you make that adapter. That's cool. I think that's really neat. That's a nice pattern there.
Quickly running through some of the other announcements. Of course, a lot more in the agent space. Cloudflare is having its MCP moment. Honestly, I this is the thing that I kept having this conversation with people, which is I've spent the last few years obsessing about durable objects, about CRDT data structures, real time multiplayer collaboration with durable objects, and a whole bunch of things. Bro, if MCP is what gives durable objects their PMF moment, it's just going to be the funniest outcome. But it seems true. Uh,
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Dude,
Right? You need this. You need a stable server. Yeah.
at this point, MCP with Cloudflare is running purely on inbound interest. It's crazy. Like we almost have to do
Yeah.
no marketing, etc. for it, except for a shit ton of work that these people already did. Don't get me wrong. But now, like, there's just inbound interest from the biggest players. An
Yeah.
example is the example that I like telling people is PayPal.
Yeah.
Hemant from PayPal reached out to us, built it, and I think within 48 to 72 hours had it in production, the PayPal MCP server running on Cloudflare. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones. The other one is Sentry. Uh, David
Oh,
Kramer, the
nice.
CTO, he tried our tech, and I love him because he has a very high bar for the quality of software that we don't
Yeah.
reach yet. Uh, Despite which, Sentry MCP server built within like 24, 48 hours, built, shipped. All the code is open source, like you can see the code for it.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, so it's MCP is having a moment, and it's kind of crazy to like see. Uh, so
Why do you think that's happening? What's your take on that? I don't know. I haven't talked to you about your take on why is MCP having its
oh
moment right
sure,
now?
MCP
Yeah.
it has almost very little to do with the okay. Why first of all, why is MCP having a moment? Uh,
Yeah.
all systems interact. Wow, that's the most obvious thing I've said in the last 6 months. Systems interact, Craig. Have you thought about systems interacting? No. Um, Having a vocabulary and an agreed upon standard is always huge. It means you
Yeah.
don't reinvent the story. The fact that Anthropic designed this thing in a way that even Anthropic didn't own it is
Right.
quite remarkable. It turned out to be a very low lift from the way we already do APIs like open. There are, sorry, there are already a ton of open API to MCP converters, etc. So
Yep.
it means existing APIs didn't have to be rewritten. You could run this thing on top of it. Uh, and some players started including them in their products. I think the first big one was probably Cursor, right? Cursor said, "Yep, you can run. Uh, you can. We will use your MCP servers if you configure it, and so on." Even though Claude had it, but that's an Anthropic thing. But the point is that uh, Anthropic doesn't own the technology.
Right.
Which, by the way, which takes us to why is Cloudflare having its MCP moment? And this is the thing that surprised me. Because, again, because the technology is built so that no company owns it, it would be hard for Cloudflare to own it, and it doesn't, just so we're clear.
Right.
But again, magically durable objects have a couple of features that make this thing a perfect fit out of the box. Uh, the current spec requires you to have a persistent connection, and using SSE, you send events and data back. Um, you need to be able to spin this up quickly and on existing infrastructure, serverless infrastructure provider.
Yep.
That's
Done.
Cloudflare.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Cloudflare right there. They're
Yeah.
making changes to the spec that makes it easier to host even in stateless environments, and I think they're going to roll
Okay.
that out soon enough. Hell, we'll roll it out soon enough. But the
Sure.
fact that we have the tech and suddenly durable objects are on the free plan, and
Yeah.
and of
Yeah.
course, like we speak to Anthropic because we would love to. We collaborate with anybody. And
Yeah.
Anthropic are a tiny 4-person company in SF. So uh, I think uh, I think Cloudflare is having like this MCP moment where we like really leaned in and said, you know what, our users are asking for it, so let's like
Yep.
really like put some effort into it and get it into people's hands. And
Yep,
uh,
yep.
I,
And these agents being able to talk to agents is important, right? That world is coming, right? So
uh,
fast.
I was just talking about this with someone else yesterday. If you're building a state management solution, whether it's a little JavaScript object thing or something on your ORM or a database platform, anything that has to do with state, you have to understand that over the next few months, not years, months, the number of users connecting to your thing is going to go up by about 100x. There are going
Yep,
to be way more AI agents than humans on the planet. Okay?
yep,
Uh, if you're not built for that future, you are going to have a tough time.
yep,
So you're right. Agents talking to agents, they're just regular
yep,
clients.
yep.
And having a consistent way of exposing functionality, consuming functionality, such a big deal. I've started work on integrating all our first class MCP stuff directly into our agent starter. I have
Oh,
a
nice.
couple of fun demos that I really want to like ship.
Awesome.
But uh, so excited. So yeah, the MCP agents MC moment is a thing.
I would love to start doing more demos on this show that we have. I've been working on something. Can I show a little demo of an
Let's
agent we got
go. That's why we are
yeah,
here.
yeah. So one of the things that I'm excited about is how good the ergonomics feel here, and I think the only way to do it is to show it. But I would love your feedback as a mustached uncle, and see how I landed this as well. I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, I should share my tab so I can share my audio. Oh, it's not a tab though. Shoot. Hold on a second.
While you're
I'll share my
doing that,
entire
I
screen.
have to answer
Yeah.
a question that's in the chat here.
Okay.
Whether maintenance, do I have temptation to build a new product service as a founder, like building a new product from scratch? I
Hmm.
considered it because I have like the startup bug, but I get to have so much more impact working with tens and hundreds of other like founders and uh, operators and interesting people building in the space. Uh, I am absolutely enjoying that experience a lot more at the moment. Like it is so good to be able to enable the next uh, breed, the next wave of entrepreneurs, creators, tinkerers, hackers. Again, my ulterior motive is I get to take credit for all of their work, which is fantastic.
And you've done it, right? You've done it. You know what it feels like, and I love that. I love that you're here and building as if you are a founder in here. I feel like there's so much the ergonomics of this thing, man. It's beautiful, and I'm excited to share people outside who haven't been able to do it because they've like I don't know what this is yet. I want to build here. I was trying to think. I was trying to think of like how do I make this agent how to make an agent that's clean because every time I start going here I start building this kitchen sink because we have all these tools. I'm trying like how do I not do that? How do I not put everything in here? One of the things that I know I need to get better at, and Sunil, I bet you need to get better at this too. They say that the best thing to do is to keep a list of kudos. Whenever you get these kudos, whenever somebody says great job, and people say that to you a lot, you should keep them and you should track them, and then you can use them back later. And I started thinking about like that's a really nice thing for an agent actually. If I was able to have a place where I could store all of these kudos, I could actually kind of summarize them, and I could actually every day I could make the thing tell me something nice, give me generate a compliment to tell me as we went. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And trying to just keep it really simple. Right? I just wanted something where you could just kind of submit it, the agent can control it, and that sort of thing. So when you go to build one of these agents, right? So I'm importing agent from agents, the agents SDK. So npm install agents. I have done that already. I've got this kudos agent, and so you can at any time jump in and say whatever you're thinking here. And it extends an agent, and I'm pushing in my environment. So
I
I've
didn't
got this
realize that the
environment
singular of kudos is kudo. That's what I just learned,
kudo.
but carry on.
Yeah. And so what I was thinking, and this is an interesting place because you start making this decision right away of like, what's the right level of where I put uh, where what this agent is. So I'm gonna go here that this is gonna be a social app. So each user is going to have their own agent. Each user on this system will have its own agent, and that agent will spread out across things. So the agent itself has state, right? So and the way that I've been thinking about state is what I want to show to the front end and what I can every time I update this state object, anything that's connected to it is going to get updated. There's a hook that happens that says on state update that will happen on the clients and anything else that is connected to it. So in this case, I have a web page. So every time I update the state, it will go. I probably should have just, I'm going to do the demo first, and then we're going to come back into it because that's how you properly do this. So I'm going to locally, I'm going to build run this, right? So this is using the Veep plugin. And here is the kudos board. I'll do mine first. So I was assuming we'd do something where you'd log in. So I'm gonna go here. There's a test in there already from my mom that I was testing before. So that's kind of, he's a great guy. And then we could say, whose is this coming from? This is coming from Craig's mom. And there's some additional fields here because I haven't built this out yet, but that's probably something my mom would say. And so it comes up here. There's a new kudo here. And it's got a little heart on here that you can like. But what's cool about this, and what we always try to show, is that like out of the box, I get the ability to do this. So I've got, I'm going to click this, and you'll see that immediately that state's going across, right? So so my dad comes down to here, and he also likes it a whole bunch of times, and you can see that the state is going across. I've got a client that is connected to this agent, and what's happening, a little spoiler, was I changed the state there, and that state updated immediately here on this side, which is neat, right? So that agent's going to have all of these kudos will be stored there, and then this heart count that's going across. So I'm just trying to find the right pattern for that, but that I think is really nice and really will kind of change, especially when you see how quick it is to do that. When you see the ergonomics of what that feels like, it's really nice. So when the agent starts, I have a database. I have a SQLite database inside of this agent. That's my own private agent here. I've got this. There's the kudos. There's this hearted. Just keeping. You can heart as many times as you want. I think maybe we can do that. And then I had this idea of like maybe you can add a YouTube video to it, right? So like you could watch a YouTube video and just kind of like pull that across. In fact, let's do one of those too. While we have that demo here. So I can add a YouTube video there. Let's just go to everybody should actually already know what this is, the YouTube Cloudflare developers channel here. Let's see if there's any comments on here. Here's a video that I recently did. I'm gonna grab this video and I'm going to post it here. And I'm going to say, monitor this video. So now this agent is watching one YouTube video, and it's going and it's looking at the comments, right? And so every time somebody adds a comment, it's going to go. And I'm using some, oh, look at that, it did it in Spanish. I'm using a little bit of AI to rewrite it, right? So it's going to look at because I'm not exactly sure what it is that they're talking about, but you have a great capability of doing this, because thanks for sharing. Originally I said that, right? Keep up the good work. That's not actually a compliment there, but you can see that it's coming in from YouTube. It's watching those and it's building the kudos. So now this agent is connected, and I have the ability to schedule and watch for additional comments as they come through here. This probably won't work to come. Well, let me see if I can make that go real quick. But the other thing that I wanted to do specifically was to make that. Let's see if this works. This might work. It might not work. As I can click this, give me a compliment, and it will actually take a look at all of the kudos that are on this board and tell me something. I'll tell you what it says. It does speech to text.
You are a talented and engaging individual with a remarkable ability to share valuable knowledge and ideas, making complex concepts interesting and accessible to others.
So there's a that came through? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
I heard it. I'm now echoing. I can hear myself.
Oh, now you can hear yourself. I'll turn that off now. I had that. Here, let me turn that off. There we go.
Test
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah. So that was the idea. That was the idea of this, and like all of that code is basically living in this agent code that is 153 lines. And I want to just show really quick the front end of this. I know that we're up at time here, but I want to show.
Oh, we've been extended. Don't worry about it. You can keep this thing.
We got it. You okay?
They have added a little extra time, so we're good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Yeah. So I built the database. I have that schedule, right? So I'm going to go check for those YouTube comments over time because comments show up, and then that thing's also using a workflow, right? So I'm using the ability for that thing might take a long time. I have this YouTube gatherer. I do a create and I push the video across, and then I also push the agent name across, and the workflow can talk to the agent, and the agent can talk to the workflow. So it's a really nice pattern because if you haven't seen in durable objects, this came along with durable objects. Is so here's a workflow. It's using it's trying to do a complement filter. I'm using some structured output to determine if it is a complement. But what I wanted to show is at the very end of this, I have this function that calls back to the agent, right? Because I can, in the workflow, I can get access to the agent, right? So I get the agent by name. And so I have a pointer to that agent, and that agent, I can actually just run RPC code on it from the workflow. So it's a really nice pattern that Sunil, we hadn't talked about this. I like the fact that I'm able to get it and then do an RPC call. I think it feels really good.
I love that. I like this calling back to an agent from a workflow. Also, it's really nice. Like you don't have to stuff all your logic into like one durable object instance. Right. Like, we have durable execution workflows. Like we have a workflows product, which went GA last week, by the way.
Oh, right. Yeah,
that's
totally. And added wait for event, right? So that you can wait for human in the loop. So I'll probably add that to this as well. So and the nice thing about that, right, is like I'm running these step do's, and if it fails, it will retry. Right, I don't have to write all that retry logic. If I hit a 429, it will exponentially back off as you want it to, right? So if I get a bunch of comments on a video, so like that's kind of the idea there of using a workflow here. But I love the fact that they communicate so cleanly on both sides, right? Because I can use an RPC to get a hold of that agent, and vice versa, and I can kick them off like this. So when I run that check for YouTube comments, I just get all the YouTube videos and then I run workflows on all of them. And the nice thing about workflows is it will scale out, right? It will go as it needs to happen. So as many videos as I want can go on that. Let's take a look at really quick at what happens at how that kudo is going across. So this add kudo, and I'm using typed. This is really nice. So I'm using this TypeScript of kudo. I'm inserting it into the local SQLite database that the agent has. And I am then doing some JavaScript stuff to make, when I add it, I want it to update all of the clients there. So I call this set state. And I only want to show the top 30. I don't want to have like infinite scrolling of these because it might be a lot. And I only want to show the top 30. So this latest object is always just going to be the top 30 of it. And when I set the state on it, that is why it added onto the thing. And that's why when the YouTube comments were coming, they added that way, because it was the same thing that was called add kudo. Now, if I jump to the front end code of this, so it's some React, and I'm a klutz here, so Sunil often helps me in this world. But I wanted to show how this is really cool. Sunil, I love this. This is like, this feels along those same lines of making the internet better, right? Because watch how this feels. So I did this use agents. I've got the kudos agent that's for that specific user. So now on state update, whenever I get those kudos, whenever I get those latest kudos, I set it. So that's why the refresh happens, right? And I update the video count too. So that's that state coming in every time it changes. Automatically happens. That's happening over WebSockets, but I don't know that. As a person who's using this, it's just there. It just works. And I have this function called add kudo. I go and I pull it from a form, just a standard form in my React, and then I do this. I have access to that agent and I say agent call. So I've got local RPC, local, which is so cool. And I'm passing
I
a
know.
type. I've created a type here locally because I can import the types, right? Which I didn't even know you could do. I'm in this really strange, uh, beautiful world, right? And so we were saying at the beginning, every time I go to build something, I'm like, I just want to make an agent thing because it has all the things that I need. It
Hmm.
has all the stuff is all set up there, and I think I'm going to struggle with that. I'm going to struggle with like, what does it mean to be an agent versus, oh my gosh, I just want these ergonomics. I want this dev ergonomics. So that's the start of what this is. I'll make a video about it and we'll share that out. But yeah, just wanted to
I love
say
it.
I'm loving building with this, and kudos to you, Sunil, for
So
making
we
that
had this
both sides.
conversation when we were building the agents SDK. Um, you can compare the agents SDK to a lot of other agent frameworks out there, and they're very different in that they actually do very different things. Our agents SDK is a container for running agentic work, which is to say, it's just a durable object with some nicer APIs. And uh, it means also that we are 1% of our journey through. Like, we need to implement so much that every other agent framework has, takes for granted. Like our agent stuff, like there's nothing much to do when it comes to even like LLMs at this point. You kind of have to implement that yourself. But I think that bet is slowly turning out to be that what's the word I'm looking for? Well, that bet is turning out, I think, to be the right one because we have multiple people who come up to us who say, we have all this homegrown agent infra that we don't like. And then we look at the
Hmm.
agents SDK, we quickly prototype it, and it works. And it scales across the planet, all of that jazz. Uh, which is a very different thing from saying, oh, rewrite. It's like, oh, you have a React app, maybe you should rewrite it with Vue. And that's never really going to, like, you can't really change uh, your own tools, so to speak. But what you can do is change the environment that you run them in. Um, so I use agents for completely non-agent things all the time. The fact
So
that
it's
I get
okay.
state sync, RPC, scheduling out of the box, I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is just better, more interesting way to build the kind of applications I'm interested in right now. We will make some things better. We will make some things tighter. Uh, this week and next week for me is memo writing and planning week, by the way, where I'm like, okay, Cloudflare, I think this is what we should do next. But it's
Nice.
very nice when I see even you and other people just use it and say, oh, it's so nice. I can just call a function on the class. And there's just all this heavy lifting, multiple. It took about 2 years of obsession to get what the code is in between that right, by the way.
Yeah.
And it just translates to a simple function call. I like that a lot. I do.
Yeah, it's really really nice where I think about what I want it to do and I design the class the way that I want to design it, and then I can use it from every angle. And it's powerful. It's a really different way. And then the dude, I we talked about real time. I can't do WebSocket stuff the right way. But this thing just does it. And I know that it's doing it, and I trust, like we said, I trust that that adapter is there in place and it works and it feels so good. It feels so good to be able to connect clients to this agent, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I didn't even know that you could make it talk, and I'm like, oh yeah, that worked.
Speaking of WebSockets, uh, so the client library, when you write use agent, etc.,
Yeah.
it's built on top of a small WebSocket library called PartySocket, which was born
Okay.
inside PartyKit days. My startup that got acquired. Everybody loved it, but I couldn't figure out how to make money with it. Anyway, uh, that library is built not just for PartyKit or durable objects. It's like just a better WebSocket that comes inbuilt with reconnections, buffering, general resilience. And I just noticed this weekend that it hit 100K downloads a week, which
Oh
isn't,
wow,
like, don't
congrats.
get me wrong, like React has like many million downloads a week. But the
Yeah.
fact that, and people are using it for things that are not party kit or Cloudflare like at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, like when you show me things like this, I'm like, bro, like, okay, some days, man, it feels like worth it.
All
It's
right.
nice to
Awesome.
see
Well, I
people.
made the
It's always nice to see people using like software
yeah,
and like solving their
for sure.
problems.
For sure. And I think there's, I would imagine that there's things that you're like, oh man, he doesn't even know what that's actually doing, how good that actually is.
Uh, some might say I want to build the jQuery of WebSockets.
Hey, there we go.
Hey.
I mean, that's the party stuff, right? The party's a great adapter over all
Uh-huh,
of
uh-huh, uh-huh.
the stuff there. I love it, man. I love it. So thank you for the uncle review there. I hope I made you proud, uncle. Awesome. I'm excited to make a video about that. I'm excited to have our next one of these. We're gonna try to get Kent C. Dodds on here with us as well
In
to
fact, I'll be
bring him up on here.
hanging out with Kent in London in next week, actually. Yeah, because Tuesday
Oh,
there's a
nice.
meetup in the Cloudflare office.
No, nice.
So I wanted to go to. By the way, that's just it. Are you going to Miami?
No, no.
Okay, so a bunch of Cloudflare people are going to Miami. They're flying in today, and I'm so
Yeah,
mad at all of them. React Miami is my favorite conference.
yeah,
Michelle and Rebecca Bakels are like my favorite people, uh, and Cloudflare is sponsoring this time. They have a small booth and everything, and I'm so mad that I don't get to go. But I do get to go to London and hang with Ken C. Dodds, etc. And like I said, like last week, I got to meet a lot of my favorite people anyway.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, all these people are going to. I'm like so mad. Like
yeah.
it's super annoying.
The mustache would go hard there too,
I
right?
know, dude. It would have landed so well. Ah, it's okay.
It's like wish you were here, like that sort of thing. Well, you
Hmm.
should get a good green screen picture with it. All right, everybody. I think that's the wrap of this dry run episode 4. We'll see you on the next one when we see you. Thank you,
You know what
Sunil.
I'm going to
And
do after this call? I've got a book which is basic. It's called Myrtle. It's
okay.
it's for so you get wait. Okay. I have too much of it. It's basically a book of murder mystery puzzles that I'm going to sit and solve.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like it's one of
Fun.
those, this one has a blue hat. This one lives in house 3. This one was here at this
Oh, it's
time.
Clue.
Yeah, it's like Clue. It's basically like Clue, but they call it Myrtle, and you sit
Oh,
and
like
solve it.
Wordle. Like Wordle.
Yeah,
It's a play.
exactly. So
Ah, dude, that's fun.
that's my
That's
plan
fun.
for the rest of the evening.
You should take a picture and see if AI can solve it after you solve it.
Oh man, I'd be so mad if that's true, but sure.
That's what we're doing, man. We're pushing this forward.
Uh-huh. All right, buddy. It was wonderful
All right,
talking to
everybody.
you. Cheers to everyone who's been on. We will see you when we see you.
Yeah. See you next time. Bye, everybody.